Welcome to this explainer. Imagine this scenario for just a second. No expensive gym memberships, no bulky equipment taking up half your living room, and absolutely zero expensive supplements. It's just you, the floor, and one incredibly simple yet surprisingly grueling goal. Today we're looking at the premise of doing exactly 100 push-ups every single day for 30 days straight. Now I know it sounds incredibly straightforward at first glance, but as we're going to see today, you're about to find out exactly why the floor suddenly becomes a lot less friendly.
Just look at that number, 100. When you hear it out loud, it almost sounds too easy, right? You might even be thinking about dropping down and knocking out a quick set right now just to prove a point. But when we talk about a daily requirement, that number goes from sounding like a fun little morning routine to feeling incredibly intimidating. The sheer volume of 100 reps every 24 hours creates this compounding physical tax that, honestly, most people vastly underestimate.
And really, that brings us to the core question of our explainer today. What actually happens to your body and your mind when you commit to this specific challenge? Because it's not just about getting bigger arms. It's a fascinating physical and mental journey. We're talking about a full month of breakdown, adaptation, and intense discipline that we are going to map out for you right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for the month. First, the week 1 shock phase. Then, adapting and the form trap, followed by visible gains and mental grit. Then, plateaus and muscle imbalances. And finally, the 30-day final verdict.
Here's a quick look at what that timeline looks like from start to finish so you know exactly what to expect. Day 1 is the shock phase, week 2 is adaptation, week 3 brings those visible results, and week 4 is where you hit that inevitable plateau. Section 1, the week 1 shock phase. Hitting the wall on day 1.
So you might drop down with a ton of confidence on that first day, but reality hits fast. Your arms start shaking involuntarily, and your chest totally tightens up. Because most people simply cannot do 100 push-ups in one single go, a smart survival strategy is absolutely crucial here. You've got to break it down. Do 10 reps in the morning, maybe 15 before lunch, just spreading them out over the whole day. The real challenge early on isn't brute strength, it's consistency. Breaking it up into smaller chunks is literally how you survive those first few days.
By the end of that first week, you are deep in the shock phase. Your body is struggling hard to adapt to this sudden, massive increase in workload. I mean, your chest, shoulders, and triceps will feel like they've been hit by a truck. Even simple everyday things like pushing open a heavy door will painfully remind you of what you did yesterday. But hey, don't panic. This is actually your nervous system figuring out how to handle the stress. You're experiencing tiny muscle tears, and as they repair, they become stronger, and your body learns to recruit those muscle fibers way more efficiently. Section 2. Adapting and the form trap. Week 2 brings relief and risk.
So as we roll into the second week, the intense soreness doesn't disappear completely, but it finally becomes a bit more manageable. Your breathing improves, you recover faster, and your body is getting used to the daily grind. But right as that little boost of confidence kicks in, a really dangerous new habit often emerges. People start rushing through their reps just to hit that magic number of 100. They just want to check it off their to-do list, you know? And as a result, they mistakenly sacrifice proper technique. Push-ups might look simple, but doing them incorrectly every single day compounds the stress. And that leads to severe wrist and shoulder strain.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. By the way, recording some motion video of yourself doing these makes it so much easier to understand your own form and catch these mistakes early. On the left, proper form requires slow, controlled movements. This is your safe, growth-oriented execution. But on the right, improper form relies on fast, sloppy reps just to hit the number. It's hurried, it's injury-prone, and it catches so many people off guard in week 2. If you are rushing, you aren't gaining strength. You're literally just inviting an overuse injury.
Section 3. Visible gains and mental grit. The turning point in week 3.
Now, this is the phase everyone looks forward to. What once felt completely impossible suddenly feels like a totally normal everyday routine. Physically, your chest gets more defined and your posture improves because you're constantly engaging your core and those stabilizing muscles. But honestly, the biggest win here is psychological. Doing this daily builds an incredibly powerful sense of mental toughness. It's about proving you can stay consistent when it's hard. It's no longer just about your triceps, right? It's about keeping a promise to yourself.
We do need a quick reality check here, though. As much as we absolutely loved the visible gains in week 3, doing 100 push-ups alone isn't some magic spell that will transform your entire body. You aren't going to wake up suddenly looking like an Olympic athlete. Push-ups mainly target your upper body, so your legs are going to stay pretty much exactly the same. And on top of that, unless your diet is specifically aligned with your fitness goals, fat loss is going to be pretty limited. It's an amazing exercise for sure, but it's not magic.
Section 4. Plateaus and muscle imbalances. The Week 4 Reality Check.
As we hit the fourth and final week, your body has mostly adapted. In fact, actually, it's gotten so smart and so incredibly efficient at this one specific movement that boredom sets in, and your physical progress can just stall entirely. To beat this plateau, you've got to shock the muscles again with variation. Change your hand positions, go wider, or bring them closer together. You can add tempo by lowering yourself super slowly, or you can elevate your feet to crank up the difficulty. Without these variations, your results are just going to flatline. There's also a hidden danger lurking here, the imbalance risk. Doing push-ups every single day doesn't give your muscles much time to rest. You are building these incredibly strong pushing muscles on the front of your body, like your chest and triceps, but you are completely leaving behind the pulling muscles in your back. If you ignore those pulling muscles for too long, you'll start pulling your shoulders forward, completely ruining your posture and drastically increasing your risk for an injury.
Section 5. The 30-day final verdict. Is it worth the pain?
So, after all the muscle tears, the plateaus, and the mental hurdles, you will indeed earn stronger arms, a more defined chest, and vastly better endurance. But more importantly, you earn massive mental discipline, which is arguably the best takeaway from this whole shebang. So, the crucial point is this. Real fitness requires balance, progression, and consistency over time across your entire body. While the 100 push-up challenge is a fantastic habit builder, it absolutely must eventually be paired with back training, leg days, and cardio. It's an awesome starting point, but it shouldn't be your entire plan.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. We've dug into the science of the shock phase, the mental grit it takes to survive, and the reality of those physical plateaus. Sometimes the absolute simplest challenges are the ones that end up teaching us the most about our own resilience. So knowing everything you know now about the grueling yet super rewarding 30 days ahead, are you ready to embrace the struggle and start day one?